Hi Stampers, happy Monday. It's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. Thanks for joining me today. Tomorrow, our new annual catalog goes into effect, May 4th. So lots of great fun new products and new ink colors that we're going to be able to play with starting tomorrow. I still can't show you the inside, but this is the cover. If you are still looking for a demonstrator to get a copy of your catalog, feel free to send me a message or post in the post below, and I'd be happy to get in touch with you and send you out a copy. So this starts tomorrow, but for today we are still going to focus a little bit on the current one. So today's the last day you can order from our current catalog. You have until, I believe, 11:59 p.m. to place an online order. So there are still some retiring products left, some that are at a great sale price. So check something out if there's some of those last minute must-haves that you want, as well as some of the retiring ink colors as well. Okay, so today we are going to make a card using the prized Peony stamp set. Now this one is being carried over, I will let you know, to the new catalog. But more so what I wanted to show you was these Plaid builder dies, which are retiring. There are two of them, and that's one, and this is the other. So they make some really great patterns on cards, and I thought we're going to play with these one last time because, like I mentioned, they are retiring, so you can still snatch these up today if you want. And the card that we are going to make with them is this one. So it uses the Peony, Prize Peony stamp set, and you can tell back here we have used the best Plaid builder dies. So I really like this combination. It was inspired by a UK demonstrator, Sarah, I'm sorry, I don't know her last name. Sarah's Stamping Retreat, I believe, is her website. And I just love the colors of this. So I'm going to show you how we are going to make this card. So we are going to start with a base of basic gray, which I have to confess I don't use a lot, but it does make for a great neutral base for feminine or masculine cards. I think it's really quite nice. Okay, so then what I did was I cut our best Plaid builder dies. So out of the petal pink cardstock, I just cut a random piece, no particular size, and I ran it through using the die. Okay, so then all these little pieces are going to pop out, little squares and all these little ones. And if you have trouble, you can just poke them out with your take your pick tool. They come out fairly easily. So that's one piece that we have. And then the second one uses this die, which is more of a grid or a lattice. And when these come out, they come out like this. So you have all these squares that pop out. And don't throw these away. What I did was I put, hard to tell now, but I did put an adhesive sheet on the back of that cardstock. So you could certainly use these for another project. So keep those aside. You never know when they'll be handy. You just have to peel and stick those squares down. And I ran this through on smoky slate. And as mentioned, I did put an adhesive sheet on the back just because this is quite thin, these lines, and I didn't want to be messing around with liquid glue or trying to get some adhesive on there. I thought this will just make for a nice clean stick to the card. Okay, so the first thing we're going to adhere is this piece. So after I ran it through the die cutting machine, I trimmed it down, actually both of these pieces. I trimmed them down to 5 1/4 by 4 because I wanted them to be a layer on our base and give it a little bit of a 1/4 inch border there to see the gray. So I'm going to just add some adhesive on here. I didn't put an adhesive sheet on this one. You could, it may just you know, be a little bit piddlier to get all those little pieces out. But there is room here to just put some adhesive. Now this Stamp and Seal is a little bit tricky on these little squares. It is working, but just double check that you're getting a little bit on each of these squares. Okay, so if you miss a couple, that's fine. You just want to make sure this is going to be tacked down fairly well. So it looks like I've hit most of those spots. Okay, not bad. Okay, so then we are going to put this down first as our layer, and this again is the Petal Pink. And just gently give that a rub just to adhere that down. Okay, so we have this nice sort of checker pattern going on. And then we're going to attach our grid on top. So when you put it like this, like, does that not look amazing? I just love this plaid pattern. You could do this with true plaid colors, you know, the greens and the blues or the yellows and the reds, lots of different ones, but I just think this gives a great look here. So I'm going to peel off my adhesive sheet, if I can. I need my fingernails here. Hopefully it will come off, or you can take your pick tool. You just need to get one end started, and you're gently going to pull that off, and now you have adhesive all over. It's like a big sticker. So then I want to offset these, right? So I want to line them up on the pink, oops, left and right, so it's looking fairly even in between. Now it may not be perfect, but you're just going to give it a gentle push to adhere that adhesive sheet down on top of the Petal Pink. And there you have your grid in your smoky slate. So I kind of like the subtle contrast of that smoky slate with the basic gray. I think that looks quite nice. Okay, so now we're ready to put on our peony here, like on our sample. So what I did with that was I stamped this peony image from the stamp set, the large one. I stamped it here on basic white cardstock using basic gray ink. And then I used my Stampin' Blends. I used Petal Pink and Smoky Slate to color in the leaves and the blossoms. So I wanted it very neutral, same sort of gray pink palette going on. And then I cut this out with the peony dies. So super easy, you don't have to fussy cut. And then we're going to shortly, I just caught myself, we are going to add another piece of basic gray here across the front. Now you could make this a little less wide if you wanted. I decided to go with this width, which I believe is about 3 inches by 4. And I don't know if you can tell, but I ran it through, actually before I measured it down, I ran it through a stitched rectangle die, and it had stitching on all 4 sides. But then when I trimmed it down to 4 by 3, the right and left side was cut off, which is fine. That's kind of what I was expecting to happen, and I don't mind how that looks at all. So then I'm going to stick that just down in the center with some regular adhesive. We'll use our snail, or sorry, our Stampin' Seal. I still have snail on the brain some days, sorry. And then you're just gonna line that up in between the grids, however high or low you would like. And you're just going to press that down. Okay, now I might have cut that a teeny bit short, but that's okay. Now we can attach our peony. So I am going to pop that up with some regular dimensionals and some mini dimensionals, because there's a couple of small floral spots in here as well, just so it has a really good stick. So I'll put one there, maybe one over here. Okay, so remove all those backings. Okay, I think that's good. And then we will put this on our front. Now, whichever way, if you want to angle it a certain way, it's totally up to you. I'm going to angle mine a little bit. Seems peonies always tend to sort of flop their heads a little bit, don't they? Okay, so the last thing we have to do is add a greeting. So in the stamp set, there are a couple of different ones. Love and thanks. My thoughts through with you, your friendship refreshes the soul, and so sorry for your loss. So I decided to make this a sympathy card as well. I always like to have a couple in my collection, even though I don't like to use them. I know there are times where we have to use them. So it's always nice to have one prepared that you're not rushing to do at the last minute. So what I did here was I took My Thoughts Are With You. I embossed this on the basic gray with the white embossing powder, sorry. And then I cut it out using the Tasteful Labels dies. And then I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals as well. Just two will do it this time. And I think we'll stick that maybe just over here. And then the last thing I want to do is just add one little gem. So I pulled out the opal rounds, which are just so beautiful. And I just am going to put one here in the bottom corner, just so it's something a little subtle and not too in your face for a sympathy card. Now, I just wanted to point out, when I did my sample, and I'm sure you can see this, the difference, I just started to randomly stamp using my Memento Black because it's just kind of what I've been going to a lot lately, and I didn't even think before I started to use the basic gray. So I did this one with basic black and this one with the basic gray classic pad, and this one is definitely a much bolder image. Even the pink pops up a little bit more. And then I thought, oh my gosh, no, I have to change that. So there's nothing wrong with it. But then I did the more subtle kind of basic gray. And I kind of really like how that turned out. I like this one too, but this one is just a little bit softer to me. And even the pink with the blends turned out a bit softer. But they're both fine cards, and anyone would love to get them. So again, if you would still like to get in on any of the retired product, today is your last day till 11:59 p.m. You can certainly place an online order. Feel free to visit my website at christineludwig.stampinup.net. And starting tomorrow and next week, we will have some new goodies to share with you. And I hope you are looking forward to that as well. So have a great day and have a great week, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.